Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraff.
And I'm Cathrine, co-host and bestie.
All right, bestie and co-host, here we go with what episode number are we on?
135.
135. That's a lot.
Yeah, for us, it is.
It is. So
actually, it's a lot anyway for like in podcaster longevity.
I know. I've heard that. Mm-hmm. So good for us.
Yes.
If you're just tuning in, welcome aboard to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway train. We're just a couple of besties that choose a topic for every week, and we talk about it. So we're hoping that you care about that. And we have sponsors. Who are they, Cathrine?
Our sponsors are humor contributors that give us little donations every month, $5 a month. And a few of them have done like a one lump sum. And it helps us move this project forward, helps pay for things like the platform and then future things that are needed to put this podcast on.
Yeah, so if you are one of those humor contributors, we thank you so much. And if you are not a humor contributor, we invite you to become one for only $5 a month, and you will get our sincere thanks and gratitude.
Yeah.
And an occasional video.
That's right.
Of us.
Occasional.
Trying to figure out videos. Yeah, but one of these days we're going to really nail that.
Yeah.
We're going to get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today we're talking about wives' tales. This is our topic of the day, friends. So if you've been waiting for Wednesday at noon to roll around and for us to drop a new episode, I hope you're super pumped right now. Yeah. We're going to be talking about old wives' tales. And we're going to basically just talk about what it is, and then some legendary ones that we've heard of or that we discovered. And then finally, we're going to just kind of have some fun with it.
Yeah.
We're just going to be chill, laid back.
That's always a takeaway.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. And of course, stay tuned to the end because we always have an inspirational close. So we do have some scripture to share with you as well as a call to action.
Aren't we so good?
I know.
We're just so good.
We have a structure.
We have structure.
We have some sort of
and we stick to it.
Well, where else are we going to go? All right. So buckle in, buckaroos. And Cathrine, what say you about wives' tales?
Well, a wives' tale is just that. It's a tale. There's no scientific truth behind it. And it's something that's usually passed down from generation to generation. And it becomes believable. Like a lot of these, we grew up believing some of it.
And notice it's a wives' tale, not a husband's tale.
I thought about that too.
It's the women.
Mm-hmm.
We have a tendency to do
women, that. Yeah, they talk, don't they?
We
and
do.
They just kind of, yeah. Oh, well.
And we're explainers. We'd like to figure out, well, this is why this is that. And
yeah, well, and sometimes it's a way to keep people in line. Like, we're controlling too if we're mothers, or even if we're not. We just say, hey, yeah, don't sit too close to the TV. You're going to go blind. Well, it's just a control thing.
Yeah, it's a little manipulative, but that's okay. It's part of being a mom.
Yeah. But basically, it's a traditional belief that somehow it came into being and then gets passed down.
It's fake news, people. That's what it is.
Fake news.
It's what we now know as
fake news. Yeah. And when you and I were first talking about this topic, and you had said, well, what are some examples? And I was like, well, like, don't step on a crack, it'll break your mother's back. And you're like, well, that's a superstition. And I was like, well, I think that's what they are.
Yeah.
Well, that is what they are. They're just superstitions, most of them. Yeah,
but the scary thing is that when you believe stuff like that, you're living in a land of, oh my gosh, I have all of this power and all this control to potentially harm or to potentially do good or whatever.
Yeah, I think some of them are meant to do good, like this first one that I'm gonna read.
What is it?
It's the one, don't go swimming after you eat because you'll die. You'll drown.
You'll get a cramp.
Well, yeah, you'll get a debilitating cramp. It could be fatal.
Yeah.
That's what I was always told. No, you cannot. And then, my mom would just have her watch. And if it weren't exactly 30 minutes,
you can't go in the water.
You cannot go. You are going to die. So that's one. And it was intended to, save me.
Yeah.
Right?
But I now that you say that, I remember being a young girl, and I was sleeping over at my aunt's house, and there were 4 of my aunts that never married, and they all lived together. They called them the kids,
Okay, yeah.
And I remember them telling us whatever they told us to get us to believe it to go to bed.
Oh.
That they said the police were coming and they were going to knock on the door, and if you weren't in bed and asleep by the time the police come, and I totally bought it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I can see why these wives' tales would kind of take on a life of their own.
Yeah.
Of, you know, mothers who would just want a moment's peace and just be like, don't get in the pool yet.
True.
You need to let your food digest so I can sit here on the beach without worrying about you drowning.
Right. And they, you know, I think some of these things, they actually believed it to be true. Now, it wasn't always like a control thing, but like, because there is a tiny bit of truth about the fact that after you eat, I think your body, like, your muscles can become weaker because the extra blood takes it away from your organs or something like that. And then it causes cramps.
Yeah.
But
okay. Translated, you're going to die.
Yeah. Translated.
All right. What's another one you got there?
Chewing gum stays in your stomach for 7 years. Actually, I always thought it was if you swallow it, it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years.
Well, that's what that means. It doesn't mean chewing it. It means if you swallow it.
I know, but this title says chewing gum stays in your stomach for 7 years.
Yeah, but it means if you swallow it, not if you just chew it.
Well, that's not one of those. It should say swallowing it.
Okay.
Look it.
Okay.
It says...
I know, but how is it going to get in your stomach if you don't swallow it?
Because you could chew and chew and the little stuff could drip down.
No, it means if you swallow chewing gum, not just the chewing part of the gum.
I just don't like the way it's worded, Tracy.
I know. I get it. I'm not laughing at you.
Oh.
I
could have fooled me.
But I can relate because remember the time I told you that the toilet at the hospital was overflowing and there was that little sign next to the toilet that said, if you need help, pull?
Yes.
Well, they didn't say medical help.
Well,
and I pulled it because the toilet was going to overflow.
That's true.
Yeah.
Touche.
Okay. Okay, so gum.
Gum.
If gum is swallowed, it can stay in your stomach for how long?
Well, the thing was 7 years.
Okay.
Like it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. So while it's true that the human body can't digest chewing gum, it doesn't really get stuck in your body.
Where does it go?
So, well, the Mayo Clinic says it reassures us that it passes through your system more or less intact and comes out the other end.
Yeah, just like a whole
Just like
glob.
everything else.
Right, like if you swallowed a nickel or something.
Yeah.
It would keep on rolling.
A rolling coin.
That happened.
Yeah.
Not to me, but to my kid.
All right. Now,
What else?
this next one, I've never heard. I'm going to ask you if you heard of it. Human urine heals jellyfish stings. Did you ever hear that one?
No.
I didn't either. So let's just pass that one.
I haven't. No.
Okay.
But I did. Okay. But just since you brought it up, one time I knew somebody who drank her own urine for health benefits.
Ew.
I know. Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I never heard. Yeah, I never heard that.
Yeah.
I mean, never knew of anyone.
I didn't believe it.
Now, I did have a older lady neighbor across the hallway from Kenny and I first home. It was a condo. And she told me that baby's urine, like if you put it on a towel or something and you put it on your acne, that'll clear your acne up. Whether or not that's true.
Okay.
I don't know.
I got another one.
Oh, no.
With the urine. Okay, do you remember the Chicago Cubs player? I think his name was like Moses Ayu or something like that. And they claimed that he would urinate on his own hands to make his hands a certain better for playing baseball.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gross. Okay, speaking of urine, I got another one.
Here we go, friends. Right down the old rabbit trail.
My cousins and I, we would sit around, like campfire talk, basically.
Yeah.
Or whatever, late night, spook each other out type thing. And my cousin came up with this idea. If we ever got approached by some weirdo who tried to kidnap us or something.
Pee your pants?
Pee on them.
Well, how are you going to do that?
Well, he was a guy. He was a boy.
Oh, the boy. He was going to pee on somebody.
But to your point, we had this conversation of, okay, well, then you, if you're a girl, then you just try to, You just try to pee and just be disgusting.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on from the urine talk.
All right. Coffee stunts your growth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that one.
Well, not only does coffee not stunt your growth, most people start drinking it after they're finished growing anyway.
True. Very true.
Yeah. And the bitter taste doesn't normally appeal to the kids. But if they were like me, when my mom would, whenever she would drag us to the bank and they had the free coffee, I was like, oh, well, I get to drink tea whenever I want to. I'm going to have some of this coffee. So she would be at the counter and she would be, doing her banking business. And I would help myself to some coffee and then just dump the sugar.
Yeah.
And I was hooked at a very early age.
Yeah. I definitely have fond memories of visiting my grandparents and them making us coffee, which was very little coffee and a whole bunch of cream and sugar. Mm-hmm. It was delightful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
Plucking gray hairs will make 2 more grow in.
No, negative.
That is correct. It is not true. Let's see.
Your hair is going to go whatever
contains,
color it wants anyway.
I contest this. It says each hair follicle only contains 1 hair. No. You look at my legs.
Okay, but that's your legs. Maybe the legs are different. Cathrine has like a forest.
Okay. No, it's like a steel factory. Like steel rods. Yes. 3 come out of 1 pore. It's so gross.
It's not gross.
It is too.
It's
my friend from a long time ago from high school, she was over the other night and she said, and she was really hairy too.
Yeah.
And she doesn't mind that I say that. I'm going to say it anyway. She regularly
shaves.
No, she burns the hairs on her arms.
Still.
And it works. I mean, her arms were really hairy. And
wait,
anyway,
how does one burn the hair?
She takes a lighter and she just.
Okay, friends, don't do that.
She does, and it works. But anyway, she had also said for her legs, she said do the laser. I couldn't believe how smooth her legs were, and she was like me.
Wow. Well, give it a try.
Yeah,
they have all kinds of those places.
Yeah, they do.
You can get everything lasered.
All right, here's one I was told all the. Just got it.
Yes. Go ahead.
Here's one I was told all the time.
Okay.
Sitting too close to the TV ruins your eyes.
Of course it does. We're all blind. We all sat close to the TV.
Yeah. And we're not all blind.
Yeah. And now kids, they have their screen right, up to their nose. Mm-hmm. How close can you get it?
Right. So not in this article, but in a different article that I read, there was slight truth in the fact that in I think it was like the 60s or sometime, there was a certain brand TV that had like 100,000 radiation watts or something like that was coming out, and they had to fix it.
Yeah.
So during that time period, yes, it was really bad to sit close to it, and then it just carried on from there. And while it does cause like eye strain, it's definitely not going to damage your eyes in any way.
That's good.
Yeah.
Relief. Mm-hmm. What else?
Okay, now I've not heard this one either. Cats suck baby's breath. So if you have a cat anywhere near your little infant baby.
No, I would not have a cat anywhere near an infant.
Well, yeah, some people I guess do.
Well, they have claws and they could
not if they're declawed.
Okay. Well, they have teeth.
Right.
Anyway, okay, so they suck the baby's breath?
Yes.
What is it supposed to mean?
Well, I think they blame the cats on the sudden infant death syndrome, the SIDS.
Oh.
Right. So.
Fake news. That's false.
Yeah. Okay, here's one we all were told. My mom told me this. Shaving your legs makes your hair grow back thicker, coarser, blacker. That's what she told me, because I wanted to shave my legs like 4th grade, maybe 5th. And she was like, absolutely not. It's going to grow back. And, okay. So they say it's not true. But the science behind that is the fact that it appears to be darker and thicker. Okay, for me, that's enough. If it looks thicker, feels thicker, then it's thicker. But the scientific explanation is that when you shave for the first time, you're shaving when the hair is longer. So it's closer to the follicle or something like that. And so then when you shave, when it grows back, you're getting that piece come up that was
under the skin
that was the thicker part. So that's why it looks thicker. Well, then it is thicker.
Okay, here's my thought on that. If it's hairy and you don't want it to be, shave it.
Yeah, I know.
If you want it to be hairy, then don't shave it.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
So this is what this little blog says here.
Mm-hmm.
Just like plucking, shaving has no impact on the thickness of your hair, the Mayo Clinic reassures us. Because shaving cuts the hair off at a blunt angle, it can feel thicker and look more noticeable as it grows back in. But like I told you, there was this other longer explanation of why it looks like that, and that's because of where it's cut.
I also wonder if some of that thought about shaving and growing in and whatever comes from when men shave, when they're starting to get their beard that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if they start to shave it, they're growing into a man,
Mm-hmm.
So I have heard that where they'll say, well, if you shave it, it'll come in thicker. Well, it's just going to come in when it comes in.
Yeah, right.
And so just while shaving it may make it look like it's coming in thicker, you're also growing into becoming a man.
Mm-hmm.
So your hormones are doing whatever they're doing to make you look more masculine.
Yeah, I guess so. Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
The hair of the dog cures a hangover.
Huh?
I guess. Now, I never heard this one either, but it was all over, like on several different
websites.
Websites that went over wives' tales.
Yeah.
And so this says, there's nothing wrong with a good brunch, Bloody Mary, but don't fool yourself. That morning after drink just delays the inevitable. The idea that hair of the dog cures a hangover first appeared in print in 1546.
What does that mean, the hair of the dog? Like literal dog hair?
I guess so. Yeah.
That's weird.
Like put a hair of the dog in your drink? I don't know.
Fake news, friends. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
And just don't drink too much. You won't have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now
two drinks.
This one, right. I heard this a lot. Cracking knuckles can cause arthritis.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's not true.
I hate that sound.
I hate it too, and I don't do it. But it's just a noise. I guess it's the nitrogen bubbles in the fluid that lubricates your joints. That's what you're hearing.
I think we can all remember being in school and somebody who could do that.
Yes.
And them doing it like on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Just to show, look at me.
Yeah. Eating carrots will give you better eyesight. That was one that I heard all the time. How about you?
Yeah, I definitely heard that. And for sure believed it. But didn't care for carrots at the time, so didn't eat them.
Okay. Well, while carrots do contain beta-carotene, a vitamin that helps maintain like the normal vision, eating more of them won't help fix people's eyesight. So, and then it was used as like a intimidating thing back with the Royal Air Force, I guess, during World War II, and they were able to shoot down enemy planes. And they kind of spread a rumor saying that they ate more carrots and it gave them better eyesight to fool the Allied forces. So, I guess it worked. Carried on.
Wow. There you go.
Yes. And here's another one that I think many people still believe today. Being cold will give you one. So,
like button up your coat so you don't get a cold.
Yes. And that's not true. That I've known for a long time that's not true.
That one reminds me of our friend Jan, who when she was like 60 and her mom was 100. And Jan was going outside and her 100-year-old mom was like, well, you better button your coat. You're going to get a cold. And she's like, Mom, I'm 60. Nobody believes that anymore.
Oh, that's so funny and cute all in one.
It is, because we're mothers. It doesn't matter if your baby's 60 and you're 100.
Yeah.
Button up your darn coat.
I know my mother-in-law would, when our kids were smaller, she used to say, where's their hat?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? They pulled it off. They haven't been sick yet. So
yeah,
that's it. The 5-second rule. If you've
Now
ever...
that is true. Coming from a mother who raised 5 boys, the 5-second rule is absolutely true.
I thought so too, because I knew a woman who worked in a lab, and they tested this, and she said it was true. She said when it drops to the floor, it doesn't have enough time to accumulate the ick or whatever, the bacteria. But
plus, even if it did, sometimes you need to get a little bit of that stuff in you so it can learn, like your immune system can learn what to destroy when it comes in.
That, yes, you do need to
Eat some dirt.
Build up your immunity. But this says if you've ever said that while picking up a drop piece of candy and popping it into your mouth, bad news. Scientists from Rutgers University found that bacteria transfers to food starting immediately. How much depends on the type of flooring and food involved, but it's best not to eat anything that hit the ground at all. So it kind of debunks what this other gal who worked in a lab who did a study said. So I you know how it is though, sometimes different studies have different results.
Yeah, but I would say if it's on the floor, leave it alone. Don't eat it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
All right.
Here's one that I was spooked about for many years and think about every now and then, that we eat about 8 spiders a year in our sleep.
That is so gross to me.
I know.
I cannot stand that. That is absolutely not true.
They're saying there's nothing to support that. So they don't believe that to be true.
I totally believed it at the time, and I was completely freaked out as well.
Yeah.
I don't like that one. I
don't either. And that is it on my little short list. But I was thinking about this, like other ones that I've grown up with. Like I mentioned, step on a crack.
Yeah.
Break your mother's back. Of course, we know that's not true. Don't cross your eyes because they'll stick.
I remember that one.
Yeah. An apple a day will keep the doctor away.
Well, that one actually does have some truth to it because of the amount of nutrients that are in an apple.
Right.
I think there's like 10,000 nutrients in it.
In a single apple.
Yeah, so eat your apples, friends.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have some to share if you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, these I found through some different YouTube channels as well as just blogs about Appalachia.
Okay.
So these are like Appalachian people who they seem to have an extra amount of superstitions.
Oh, do they?
They're highly religious and they're highly uneducated. And so they fill in the blanks with whatever.
Okay.
So here's some of their superstitions and wives' tales.
I can't wait.
If you take a shower on the first few days of menstruation, you'll cramp to death. Oh, you're done. It's over. You're going to cramp to death. No showers.
So that's probably just like the way to save water.
Right. We don't have running water anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't want to cramp to death.
Nasty.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another one. Don't rock an empty rocking chair. It's a harbinger of death.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I read a lot about death.
Yes.
And crows and all the stuff. Yeah.
And okay, let's face it. An empty rocking chair is creepy anyway.
It is.
Let's not. I don't even.
Especially if you watched like horror movies when you were younger or even now.
Which I did not.
Scary.
Okay. A bird that flies in the house is an omen of death.
Oh yes. Oh, do you know? I had this horrible experience when I was about 4 years old. We lived in Hazel Crest. And we were down in the basement of our home, and a black bird flew in the basement somehow. And my mom and I were huddled on this, like those 60s chairs that are vinyl and their big bucket, screaming because this bird, when something like that is in your house, it is scary. It's
a wild animal. It does
and
not
it's
belong.
floating around.
Yeah, it doesn't belong in there.
Yeah, it's scared. You're scared anyway. So if that were true, we would have been dead a long time ago, I guess.
We had a bird that flew in our house when we lived next door to you out in the country.
Oh.
I had a Christmas wreath on the front door.
Oh,
I wrote about this in my book.
I remember, yes.
Okay, and there were actually 2 birds in there. And when the door opened, the smart bird flew out and the dumb bird flew in. And so now the bird is in our house, and it's a lot of commotion, and the kids are everywhere. And a couple of my kids are like, don't hurt the bird, until it was like the middle of winter. We had all the doors open trying to, encourage the bird to go to its own environment.
Yeah.
Well, after about an hour of that, then the ones that wanted to preserve the bird are like getting the tennis rackets out and going, just get it.
Yes.
And we discovered that if you turn off all the lights and the bird will calm down. And if you're quiet,
Really?
so rather than being like 7 people all screaming, which was the case, all 5 of my boys, my husband and I are yelling at each other, and the lights are all on.
Oh,
I don't know. It had to be Ron's suggestion to turn off the lights. I can't remember. But when we turned the lights off, the bird settled down. We were able to throw a blanket on it and then haul it out in the blanket.
Oh, wow.
So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And no one died. So that's good.
Right.
Okay. Here's another Appalachian myth, wives' tale. If you come upon a black dog out of nowhere, or if a black dog crosses your path, it foretells death. Somebody's going to die.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
I would be struck dead.
I know.
Like
Right.
long time ago.
It doesn't work.
Right.
Here's another one about death. Birds singing at night portends death.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here's another one. If you put your shoes on the bed, it heralds death for someone close to you.
Oh my goodness. Don't do that. then.
Yeah. If you change an animal's name, it will die.
If you change the animal's name,
It will die.
it will die.
That's the end.
Okay.
If you shudder for no reason, someone's walking on your grave. Well, wait a minute. If you're alive.
How can you shudder if you're dead?
Exactly. I don't know. When a person dies in a home, open a door for his or her spirit to pass.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
If you touch a dead person, you won't dream of him or her. If you don't look upon a dead member of your family or another person who's close to you, you won't believe the person died and you'll go insane. Can you imagine? Now, little Billy, you have to look at Uncle Frank. If you don't, you're going to go insane.
I don't care if you're crying and you're scared. Look at this dead body. Right now.
I'm sorry, but my goodness.
I could just picture slap on the head. Look at that body.
Gosh, so crazy. Okay, here's another one. There's only a few more. Stop a clock in a room when a person dies. Otherwise, you'll have bad luck.
This is a lot to do around death.
All of it is.
It's a
this
lot to think
Appalachian
about.
thing. I know.
Oh, no wonder they're okay.
Okay. Avoid walking atop graves as a sign of respect. Otherwise, spirits might get angry and you'll have bad luck.
Oh.
It's bad luck to put a hat on the bed. Death will come soon.
Oh, well, not death again.
It's all death. If a picture falls off the wall for no reason, someone will die. Or your house is haunted. Or the picture was not hung properly.
Right.
Oh, okay. The redbud tree is the tree from which Judas hanged himself, so it's called the Judas tree. I don't know what that's in here.
Yeah.
Okay. It's thought that Jesus was crucified on dogwood, which was at one time a large tree. Its blooms are symbolic, representing the cross, thorns, and nails. Coal miners are doomed. If a woman works in or steps into a coal mine, expect catastrophe.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
could have made that one up.
Why is that?
Cannot work.
Oh,
I cannot do that. Catastrophe will come.
right. I don't want to get dirty. Ugh. All right. Death comes in threes. Yeah, we've heard that.
Yeah.
Animals can see ghosts. An owl hoots signifies death. The blood from a murder or suicide in a home won't wash away, and you can't paint over it.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Coins on a veteran's headstone, not so much a superstition, but a message of respect. So a penny, someone visited the grave. A nickel, the visitor was in boot camp with the veteran. A dime, the visitor served alongside the veteran. Or a quarter, the visitor was there when the veteran passed away. Yeah, there's a lot more there, but that's enough to just give you
right.
Give you just a feeling.
Those are some like crackpot ones.
Well, and like I said, they're from Appalachia, and they're highly religious, and so death, has a thing for them, and they want to make sure that they're avoiding it, I guess. Another thing that I found interesting, that I took some notes on a video that I watched about the Appalachia myths and superstitions. They said you never sweep the yard.
Oh, yes.
Don't ever sweep the yard. And when you sweep the house, you sweep from the back. Oh, no, from the front to the back. You don't ever sweep anything out your front door, because if you do, you're sweeping your luck away.
Oh.
You go from the front to the back. And if you dream of someone who's dead, so there's going to be a wedding.
Oh, gosh. How do you tie that together?
I find it so funny that they put all these things like, oh, I had a dream last night. It's going to be a wedding.
Yeah. I thought when you were going to say the sweeping thing, I've heard something about fertility and sweeping. I don't remember the details, but I know that that's
There's a whole bunch of things surrounding gender reveal.
Oh, yes. Oh, in fact, I can remember my parents doing it. Yeah, and actually it was quite believable when they did it, but it wasn't holding a I don't know if you heard of the one, you hold a ring on a string over the belly of a pregnant one, and if it goes, I think in a circle, it's a girl, and back and forth a boy. And when I can remember my parents sitting around with their friends, after they're done playing cards or whatever, and they would do that even though they had already had kids, but it would go exactly in the pattern. But I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, you know? Yeah.
And they didn't have anything to back it up. So they're like, oh, okay, let's give it a shot.
Right.
Now, as you know, I had 5 boys, and I had them all in the 90s, right? Or whatever. And people swore I was having a girl at different points. Oh, you're carrying that baby high. It's a girl.
Yes,
it's a girl. All your weight is in your boobs. It's a girl.
Thanks for
stop looking at my boobs, okay? And it was all 5 boys, so who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, here's an interesting one. If your nose itches, the first person that you think of will soon visit.
Oh, yes.
And if you drop a spoon, a woman's going to visit. If you drop a fork, a man's going to visit.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. How about if your ears are ringing, someo's talking about you?
I've heard that. It wasn't on here, but I've heard that before. Let's see. Another one is if you're walking and you feel a stitch or a pain in your side, pick up a rock, spit on it, and then put it back down.
What? Where did that come from?
The Appalachia.
These are still Appalachia.
It's still Appalachia. Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Appalachian.
Well, they pronounced it on the video as Appalachia. So I'm thinking that's what it is. Also, they say never wash clothes on Sunday.
Oh, that's just an excuse.
And if an old dog lays in the doorway, it's a sign of someone's going to move.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be hard keeping up with all that.
It would be.
Yeah.
I mean, you just go wacko, which...
Right. Oh, wait. Here's one on the Appalachia thing, too. Never take a pig on a boat. It's bad luck because it was believed that pigs can't swim. Don't take a pig on a boat.
Because that's what we were going to do.
Right. We were going to grab that pig, go on a cruise. Come on, pig. It's me and you.
I think after 4-H, we'll take a boat ride.
You're going to love the buffet. There's no pork.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
that's funny. That is, yeah. Well, that was entertaining.
It was. That's all I got. What else you got over there? Anything?
Well, I don't have any more, but I was going to look. We were kind of talking before we started on air, if you want to call it that, about inbreeds and marrying, or not marrying, but inbreeding, just having relations with a relative, and whether or not that was going to cause, deformities and craziness and things like that. And really, no, it doesn't, because if you think about it, I mean, for years and years, things like that have been going on. But we did learn that you have an increase, like if they do have an abnormality or a disease of some sort, you're going to have a higher chance of it being passed down.
Yeah, I would say best bet, let's avoid that.
Well, right.
Let's just avoid it for the mere weirdness of it.
Yeah.
I went to a family funeral one time I attended with my brother, and somebody thought that we were like a couple, and I was just like, oh. No, we're not a couple. We're just
Right.
here representing the family.
Flowers in the attic.
All
Did
right.
you ever read that?
No.
No.
Is it about inbreeding?
It's this book enthralled me. It was a series like of 4 of them, and I was so engrossed. But it was about these children. They're 4 siblings, and I think 2 boys, 2 girls. They were beautiful and good looking and all this stuff. And and they had the perfect family, the darling family, I think they were called. And the mother, her husband, so the father, died. So then they end up having to be to live with the mother's mother, so the grandmother, whom they never met, and she was super rich, but she never approved of that marriage, so she never wanted to see the grandchildren. So the mother said, well, you just have to stay up in the attic for just a little while till grandma gets accustomed to you, until I tell her about you. But the kids are in the attic for years.
Oh, nice.
And so then the brother.
Okay, well, there we go.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't, I mean, it's not graphic, but.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Lots of people know that book. I'm just saying.
Okay. Let's talk about the Bible. Let's give our scripture. It's 1 Timothy 4:7. And it says, have nothing to do with godless myths or old wives' tales.
Right.
Rather, train yourselves to be godly. That's the ticket.
Yes.
Just stick with that.
That's right.
Okay. Good. Catherine, call to action.
Well, don't believe everything you hear.
No,
don't be
please.
gullible.
Please
Okay.
don't.
If something sounds a little cuckoo, then it probably is.
Yes.
Yeah. But just, when it comes to certain precautions and things like that, be cautious, but don't rely on these things.
Yes, please. All right. Well, this was a fun episode.
Yeah.
I really didn't think it was going to turn out that good, but I think it's funny. So way to go, Catherine.
I could tell that you felt that
Oh,
way.
yeah. Yeah, I was hesitant.
I mean, every
like,
step of the way.
Right. Myths.
Just,
what?
Well,
All right. Well, let us know what you thought. And if you've got some tips or ideas or whatever.
Only let us know if, good news.
No. If you, no. Okay. Yes. Good news only. That's right. That's right. What am I saying? All right. Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
All right. You've been listening to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraff.
I'm still Catherine.
See you next time.
Goodbye.